Hey everybody, it's Penny and welcome back to Take Action August. And we're talking today, as I alluded to yesterday, about the standard American diet or the SAD diet. You know, like everybody talks about the Mediterranean diet, everybody talks about keto diet, everybody talks about diet. And I used to love what Richard Simmons used to say. This diet is to die with a T on it, you know. And it's really a matter of genetics and preference as to what diet really works best for you. In my personal choice, I really want to move towards whole-based, whole whole foods, plant-based is really what I'm moving towards. The last two holdouts are bacon and dairy because I like my cheese and I like my cream in my coffee. But if 95% of everything else that I'm eating is whole foods and plant-based, is that little bit gonna hurt me? I really don't know. I mean, but I did get some blood work done, and the blood work was showing that my total cholesterol is just a scotch higher than I like. And then also, there's a couple of anomalies in there that are just showing me that I need to clean up my diet a little bit. And, there's so many things that happen with our health that are food related that we just don't even know because our doctors aren't trained on nutrition. They really don't know. So it's really up to you to study and learn and take those little incremental bites of learning what's best for you. Okay, so, but what's best for me, I like my fruits and veggies. And so I have no problem kicking up my fruit and veggie game. I really don't. And I'm not too opposed to almond milk, but the fake cheeses and and all that, no, because we'll get into that in a minute. But anyway, so the SAD diet or the standard American diet. So the standard American diet consists of a lot of fried foods, grain-based desserts. So we're talking, crepes and pies and cakes. High-fat dairy. So we're talking whole-fat cheeses, whole milk, stuff like that. Processed food. Oh my gosh, I could do 30 videos just on processed food. Oh my god. So processed meats, which is like bacon and deli meats, those are full of nitrates. Hot dogs, stuff like that. Red meat. I want to show you something. So this is an advertisement for a local grocery store. It's not H-E-B. But look what the first page is. The first page is all meat with a little bit of veggies and processed foods. Yeah, that's the standard American diet. Meat, little bit of veggies, and processed foods. So refined grains is another item that's very common in the standard American diet. So we're talking white pasta, white flour, white bread, etc. And the biggest culprit to the deprivation to the, to the major challenges in America today is it's 15 minutes. I'm sorry, my 30-minute timer just went off and I don't have a bottle of water. Okay, I'll get water in a minute. But anyways, so the last thing is sugar-sweetened beverages. Sugar-sweetened beverages have absolutely no nutritional value to them whatsoever. When they were originally created, they were created as medicinals. So, like Dr. Pepper was actually originally created as a stomach stabilizer, and Coca-Cola was originally as a pep, because it had cocaine in it. So it was originally designed as a medicinal to up your energy. So, I mean, a lot of things like ginger ale was originally designed as a stomach settler, stuff like that. And so they were actually medicinal, and then they became part of the culture, and then everybody had to have a sugar sweetened beverage, and there's so much friggin' sugar and sugar. And what happens metabolically is a whole bunch of things whenever you eat these foods. Like, fried foods have a lot of fat in them, and so this kicks your pancreas and your gallbladder and your liver into gear trying to get that all digested. Your grain-based desserts usually have a lot of sugar in them and fat, and so that puts in an insulin reaction, and then your gallbladder gets thrown in there because it's got to work on the fat. Your processed foods contain so many chemicals that processed foods, a lot of them are made by chemists, and they're not made by chefs. So when you read that ingredient list and it's got stuff on there that you've never seen before, maybe it's not something you want to put in your body. So, and then, red meat, of course, it's America. And I grew up in a home where you had meat on the table. The standard plate was meat, some veggies, and a starch. That's and maybe a little salad. But that's the plate that I grew up with. And now, from what I'm reading and what I'm learning, that plate should be like half or three quarters, like half of green veggies, like leafy greens and stuff, a little quarter of, a more denser veggie, and then a little bit of grain. Um, so the standard American diet, there's this group of people called the National Health and Nutritional Examination Survey, the NHANES, and it's this ongoing nutritional study that has been surveying these participating Americans about their diet. Now, these Americans haven't been asked to do anything special with their diet, and so from 2017 to 2018, the data of the standard American diet from the people that they're studying came up with that average Americans eat about 2,100 calories a day, and that 16% of those calories are from protein. It doesn't clarify what kind of protein, but I'm assuming animal protein. 47% is from carbohydrates, 36% from fat, and 22% of all of the calories are from added sugar. Do you know how many friggin' sodas that is? That's a lot of sodas. So that's the standard American diet. And so as you can see, there's a lot of things that are very convenient on the standard American diet. So when I was a little kid, so I've been on this planet for, getting close to 60 years now. So when I was a little kid, there was no frozen foods. The only frozen foods was like Stouffer's, and that came out in like the late 70s, and it was like a treat to get that little metal tray, and you'd bake them in the oven, and then you'd pull off the tray, and then the brownie would cook, and all this other stuff. And so that was like a treat item, and fast food really didn't exist to the extent that it exists today. So then fast food became a little bit more popular, and then it became part of our lives. And so, like, you're going to work, you're tired, you don't want to cook, or you're coming home from work or whatever, and so you would just drive through Churches or KFC, and you would just get chicken for dinner, and everybody would have chicken. Or like you would drive through McDonald's, or you would drive through the drive-through, and you would get something for dinner. And there was never really any kind of options. And one of the things that I want you to really, really think about is the dollar burger. Okay? So like yesterday when I was making the chili, I stopped by H-E-B, my grocery company, and I bought some beef to go in the chili for the non-vegetarians, because my vegetarian chili had sweet potatoes and corn and bell peppers in it, but for the boys, I put beef in it. Okay, so I'm looking, and they had these beautiful sirloin burgers that were quarter-pounder burgers, and it was like $12-16 for like 4 like dilly deluxe burgers, like really, really good burgers. And then even the mass processed, burgers in a bag, those are like $10-12. So like we're talking to $2 or $3 per patty. Okay. And so when you go to Burger King and you're getting a dollar burger, okay, so really think about what exactly is the quality. I'm sure it's not USDA choice or USDA prime that you're getting in that dollar burger. You're getting a lot of processed stuff. So remember, physiologically, okay, so evolutionarily and physiologically, we are designed to crave sugar, fat, and salt. Those are the three things. So all of these processed food manufacturers, that's exactly what they put in the food. Because you know why? Because it makes you want it. Because your little palate gets used to it. But I'll tell you one of the advantages of really, really cleaning up your diet. And so one of the great advantages of the bariatric process is it really, really, really resets your manufacturing settings. Okay? So by that I mean to get to the diet, you had to clean up your diet and clear your diet. And then after the diet, after the surgery, you have to really clean up your diet and you have to um, eat minimally processed. And what, granted, they have you doing these protein shakes, which we'll get into in another day. But what happens is that you get this little factory reboot and you have the choice of either going back to your old diet of eating chips and fast foods and processed foods, and or cleaning up your diet and eating better for your overall health. Okay, so that's one of the big advantages. But one of the things that happens is that your gut biome is removed when that 2/3 of your stomach is removed. Okay, so all of your gut bugs are really what signals your brain as to what you want to eat. So let's say, for example, your body is low on potassium. Your little gut bugs will go, I want some potassium. Can you send me a banana? And so the gut bugs will tell the brain bugs, hey, we need bananas because bananas are full of potassium and the body is needing potassium for optimal health and survival. Because remember, this brain and your tummy brain are all designed for one thing: optimal health and keeping you alive. That's why there's all these little contingency plans that kick in when, like, when you have any kind of disease or distress. You have all of these checks and balances in your body to make you all better because it wants you to survive, because that's what it's designed to do, right? Right? Keep you alive. So the gut biome tells the brain biome that you need a banana, so you go, oh, you know what? I need a banana and maybe some tomatoes too, because your body wants potassium. So when you're eating all of these processed foods, the gut bugs that have figured out, ooh, I really like the salt sugar thing, they start going, I want some more salt and sugar. And then all of a sudden your brain's going, I want to drive through McDonald's. So I'll tell you a funny thing. So I've had the bariatric surgery, I've reset, I've been eating a cleaner diet, whatever. So it's Lent. And McDonald's has their filet of fish sandwich, which I absolutely adore. I think Xena photobomb. So I really, really always liked the filet of fish from McDonald's. So I go into the drive-thru and I see this big sign that says, buy one, get one, because it's Lent. So you can have two for $5, for the filet of fish sandwich. So I get it and I take a bite and I threw it away. I threw them both away because they were just so gross, because they were just fatty and all I was tasting was salt and fat. And it was gross. It was gross. Think about your favorite snack food, like Doritos. What are you tasting? Sugar, fat, salt, right? So like you eat a pie and you've got salt in the crust, you got fat in the crust, and you got sugar in the filling, right? So sugar, fat, everything. Think about it. Think about it this way. Why am I eating this? Why am I craving this? Because it's got sugar, it's got fat, it's got salt. So a lot of these gurus that I've been paying attention to, or at least, giving them their opportunity to enlighten me, they talk about how addicting sugar, salt, and fat is. And so one of the take action items that I'm working on this month is reducing artificial sweeteners. And we're going to be talking about coffee tomorrow and artificial sweeteners. So that's a really, really big challenge, is really attacking these items. And so like when you're hangry and you're thinking to yourself, I want fast food, or I want this, or I want that, take a moment, breathe, and think to yourself, why am I really craving that? Why am I craving the sweets? Is my energy low? Am I craving the sweets because I need a pick-me-up? It's all hunger is brain hunger, okay? Because it's all signals from all over the place. Physiological hunger is something that we are so not used to in America, because we've been trained since we were little not to go to bed hungry, or, all this other stuff. We have all of these weird connections with food, and all of these food habits and food cultures and food lies and dietary lies, like 1,200 calories. And excuse me. So anyways, getting back to the standard American diet, or the SAD diet, um, there's all kinds of little swaps you can do to really, really improve these things. So like if you like fried foods, you can bake them in the oven and you can get comparable taste, comparable texture, but without all of that extra fat. And then grain-based desserts, you can, switch out your grains and eat like a whole grain with some apples on it. And it's not, it's more whole food, and it's a little bit better for you, and you can kick up the flavor game, and you can add some cinnamon, and you can add a little bit of honey, or you can add some maple syrup to it, which is going to give you the sugar content, but you also have the fruit content. But it's nothing like eating 5 sugar cubes, which is what's going to happen if you make a sugar glaze over your fruit, etc., that kind of thing. Processed foods, the majority of the gurus just say shop the perimeter of the store. Don't even go in the inside aisles. Because the inside aisles, if you look at your standard grocery store, there's this huge produce department, there's this huge meat department, there's this huge deli department. And so, like, if you stick to the outside, the majority of the foods on the outside of the perimeter are the lesser processed foods. So when you're shopping, stick to the outside and try to purchase things and consume things and eat things and manage things that are the most least processed. You can grow your own stuff, even better. I'm not much of a gardener. I got some herbies going. I'm doing good there, But so, like, we were talking about spaghetti sauce yesterday, me and my coworker, and I was saying, well, I start with 2 cans of tomatoes. Now, when I buy tomatoes, I look at the container, and if the container says tomatoes and then like ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C, I'm cool with that because I know ascorbic acid is vitamin C. But if it says some other things, then I'm like, well, I don't need soy oil. I don't need whatever to preserve freshness or whatever. So if it says tomatoes and it's a can of tomatoes, I'm going to buy that. So I'll start out with that. I'll add 2 cans of tomatoes into my pie, and I'll saute some onions and some garlic, add the tomatoes, add a handful of Italian seasoning, boom, 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 throw that in there, and then I let it cook and I let it meld, and that's just a perfectly wonderful, simple marinara pasta sauce, versus opening up a can of ragu that's got 17 ingredients on it that you've never heard about, or some other processed spaghetti sauce. It doesn't kill me to make it fresh and let it set for a little bit. So with a little pre-planning, you can do substitutions that are going to clean up your diet, make your diet a little bit better and less sad. So anyways, so that's the talk for today. Just clean up your act a little bit. So every time you have a meal, think about it. Like really think about it. How good a quality is a $1 burger? Think about that. Anyways, so that's it for today. The standard American diet, or the SAD diet, which mostly fried foods. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you eating at Chick-fil-A and getting them French fries and them chicken nuggies. Yeah, so anyways, so that's it for today. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about coffee. Yeah, I know. But when you work shift work, it's your lifeblood. Even at Seventh-day Adventist hospitals, they have a coffee pot somewhere. I know. Anyways, so that's it for today. And don't forget, I love you, and I love you. And if you like this content, give me a thumbs up, and share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. So anyways, so this is Penny, Chaos Coordinator, and thank you kindly for listening. Don't forget, love you. And tomorrow on Take Action August, we're going to be talking about the wonderful world of coffee. All right. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.